The news, good evening. The latest update on the coronavirus pandemic in Seychelles, the figures remain at 9 positive cases, 73 other people are in quarantine, and 3 people have been called in for tests. President Danifo and the police commissioner, Kisnan Labonte, met with the rapid response team of the Inner Islands to discuss the strict measures being implemented in the country to prevent the spread of COVID-19. The rapid response team, which also includes members of the police force and the SPDF, met with the president for the first time at l'Union Estate on La Digue. Following the meeting, President Faure also met with members of the police force on Praslin. The Indian government has donated 4 tons consignment of essential life-saving medicines to Seychelles in view of the ongoing COVID-19 crisis.
These medicines have been requested by the government of Seychelles. This is a special arrangement made in view of the special relations between Seychelles and India in order to enable the supply of these medicines despite the restrictions in place due to the lockdown in India. As part of this consignment, India has sent supplies of hydroxychloroquine to Seychelles. The anti-malarial drug is now used to treat COVID-19 patients with effective outcomes. It may be noted that hydroxychloroquine tablets, exports of which are otherwise restricted, are being provided as a special exemption to Seychelles. Health authorities worldwide have recommended hydroxychloroquine for COVID-19 patients and have had positive outcomes. Other medicines as part of the supplies include various other life-saving medicines for COVID-19 complications, which has been described as a game changer for the treatment of the pandemic in Seychelles.
A second cargo flight of Ethiopian Airlines carrying a donation of medical supplies from the Chinese billionaire Jack Ma landed earlier this morning at the Seychelles International Airport. Ethiopian Airlines reported on its Facebook page that the flight would then continue to Mauritius, Madagascar and the Comoros to deliver supplies there too. The new donations will help Seychelles and the other countries cope with the COVID-19 pandemic. Efforts are underway to seek help from the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund to aid the country's economic recovery after the coronavirus crisis. The Finance Minister, Maurice Louste-Lalande, says Seychelles is pushing far for a debt reduction deal after losing out on millions of dollars of tourist revenue. It comes as the leader of Nevis, a holiday island in the Caribbean, calls for help for small tourism-dependent states.
Another faraway paradise facing a familiar problem close to home. Nevis, luxury hideaway of the rich, part of St Kitts and Nevis in the West Indies, is confronting the same potentially catastrophic economic earthquake as Seychelles.
Tourism has evaporated. I think this is where now the various international organizations like the IMF and World Bank and others will have to come into play in order to build out some infrastructure to allow small economies some space to breathe.
Now the tourists have departed, and with them their valuable foreign exchange contributions to the country's economy, there's real concern that Seychelles could return to the so-called time of Napa, when foreign exchange controls were first lifted just over 10 years ago. But the government wants to avoid a collapsed economy and says it doesn't have to be that way. The Finance Minister Maurice Louste-Lalande says we're working closely with the World Bank and IMF to find the best possible solutions to manage the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic on Seychelles, which, like all other small island states dependent on tourism, is particularly sensitive in times of global economic crisis. His statement adds, access to concessional financing for all small island states could help reduce the burden of debt and facilitate recovery, and this is what we're pushing for. Economist Peter Sinon has told SBC News that Seychelles has good standing with the IMF, which provided an urgently needed rescue package after the Napa crisis triggered by the worldwide economic slump of 2008.
We've been a very, very good student. We've listened, we have argued our case, they've listened to us, and we turned the economy around in a very short time.
So successful, in fact, Seychelles has been held up to other countries, such as Greece, as a model of how to rebuild a balance sheet from bust. History could be about to repeat itself.
The essential services in Victoria tended to large groups of people during the course of the day. Many people went to the bank to withdraw their money since today is a payday for social services beneficiaries. Various places such as the hypermarket, the Seychelles Commercial Bank and the Airtel telecommunication branch in Victoria had the assistance of security guards to help reinforce social distancing. At the Seychelles Commercial Bank, the police had to intervene to give a helping hand because people were not abiding to the regulations. President Danny Ford chaired a special meeting of the Cabinet at which the members were briefed on the status of the national strategy against the COVID-19 pandemic. Cabinet was briefed on the global situation and updated on the locally registered cases as well as the status of facilities and equipment. They also reviewed the strategies implemented since the first case of the coronavirus was identified a month ago on the 14th of March in Seychelles. The strengths and weaknesses were considered as well as ongoing challenges. Given the importance of the next 2 weeks in the monitoring of the spread of the virus in Seychelles, Cabinet was briefed on the next phase of the strategy to be implemented. And with this, we end this news summary. Thank you for watching. Have a pleasant evening.